Is it true that factories became common only after all the rich men in England discovered that women and children could work for 25 hours a day without dying or becoming deformed? Was keeping all the machines working essentially to provide paid workouts to factory workers? These and other questions will be answered right after this. I'm Professor Jerome Arkenberg, and I've been teaching a wide variety of history courses at colleges across this country for the past 30 years. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the advantages of the factory system, the disadvantages of the factory system, child labor, and a new concept of time. At the end, I'll have the wrap-up quote on this video, so make sure to stick around for that. But first, make sure to click like, share, and especially subscribe, and that little bell thingy, so I can continue to bring you more great videos just like this one. The factory was a device so new and terrifying that it became the symbol of the Industrial Revolution. Even though most laborers worked in enterprises employing fewer than 50 workers. Factories allowed employers to exercise tight control over their workforce. Slackers, time wasters, and unrest could be checked. Lazy or troublesome workers could be punished by eviction from factory housing or kept from entering the plant by simply locking the gate. Supplying raw materials was easier to one large factory than to dozens of small craft shops. Roads, canals, and rail spurs could come directly into a large factory and maximize efficiencies in transportation and distribution. And to maximize use of generated power and expensive investments in first water wheels and then steam engines, factories had to be big. That is, large engines, large power engines, led to large factories. By 1850, it was apparent that centralization under one roof was best for manufacturing plants. But factories posed previously unknown hazards. Unguarded flywheels and moving parts could injure, maim, or kill. And workers face exposure to dangerous levels of dust, soot, and noise. Factories were noisy and dirty, cold in the winter, hot in the summer, with dust and smoke that blackened the skin and choked the lungs. The length of the day was governed by many factors, such as the amount of sunlight and the need to maintain continuous operation of expensive machinery. A blast furnace, for example, could not be turned off and on with ease. Laborers worked 15 to 18 hours a day, 6 days a week. Only the deeply Protestant idea of keeping the Sabbath day holy allowed workers a day of rest on Sundays. But over the course of the 19th century, work hours were reduced, first to 10, then 8 hours a day, and the working week reduced from 6 to 5.5 days by 1900. A whole range of new activities emerged in which children could compete with adults, which meant irresistible pressure to ship children off to the factory as soon as possible to add to meager family incomes, especially before public schooling became the norm. Child labor, though, was nothing new, as children had for centuries, pretty much from the age of 7, or sometimes even the age of 4 onwards, worked as swineherds, scarecrows, gleaners, maids, street sweepers, drudges, even, unfortunately, prostitutes. But child labor proved so revolting to Victorian mores that restrictions on it and abuse were passed, along with ideas that children should be both educated and enjoy a happy childhood. Truly revolutionary. Industrialization also changed social patterns, living conditions, and the daily rhythms of life, substituting the old agricultural patterns, which follow the seasonal rhythms of nature, with new ones set by the means of production and machinery. Before, time to the nearest hour was enough, but the mechanical clock gave a certain precision to life. People began to make precise appointments, to set daily schedules. In other words, I will see you at 12:15 instead of noonish. And every worker needed to know when to leave home to get to work before the factory gates closed because, as we just said, if you didn't make it to work before the factory gate closed, and you got there and it was closed, you were out of work for that day, and maybe forever. For factories worked on strict schedules, with workers needing to be in place when the wheels began to turn. So factory sirens, instead of church bells, marked time in the city. The shift change, the noon whistle. This spurred a demand for first clocks and then watches, all made possible for common use by industrial processes which dramatically lowered cost in this as in so many other things. And the need of railways for precise scheduling caused time itself to be standardized across the globe into 24 time zones. The wrap-up quote. The factory system, so far from being injurious or oppressive to the workman, gives him the benefit of the most perfect and most expensive tools in the world. All the splendid inventions of Arkwright, Hargreaves, Crompton, Cartwright, Watt, and many others, combined and arranged in an admirable series within one building. And it links with him in an indissoluble band of interest, capitalist of the largest means and greatest skill and experience. The labor of the factory, instead of being severe, is light. The heavy work being done by the steam engine and the other machinery, and the duty of the workman being chiefly to supply the material, to watch the movements of the machines, and to convey the article from one process to another. The hardest labor, perhaps, is in the woolen mills, which, however, contain the healthiest body of working men. Sir Edward Baines, 1843. Let me know what you think of this quote in the comment section below. Also, what you liked about this video, and what other historical topics or subjects you'd like to see in future videos. Be sure to click like, share, and especially subscribe, as it will help me bring you more great videos just like this one. And click on that little bell thingy so you know when the next History Waits for No One video is posted. If you want to know more, there are recommended studies on this topic in the description below, along with other ways to connect with me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the past.